the moment you have waited for has arrived. Hello, welcome, welcome. Yeah, give me some applause. I love applause. My name is Trish Tillman. I'm the English and drama teacher here at Brandeis Marin. I couldn't be happier to be here tonight on such a beautiful night. How blessed are we? This is really great. I hope we have a wonderful time. I've already had a wonderful time seeing alumni and friends and parents of students past and present. It's already been a gift to me, so thank you for that. Without further ado, we're just going to move ahead with our program. And you know who they are, but they are fearless. They are dauntless. They've gotten us through the last few years, which, as you all know, has not been an easy task. Kept us going, kept us positive, displayed exemplary leadership. The head of school, Peg Sandell, and the president of the Board of Trustees, Or Shaked. Please welcome them both.
Welcome, Brandeis Marin. Thank you, everyone, for coming. For those of you who don't know me, I am Or Shaked, and I am the president of the Board of Trustees at the school, and I am the father of 2 Brandeis alums. What an amazing view from up here, looking out over this huge crowd of both new and familiar faces. Makes me realize just what we missed over the last 2 years of not being able to be here. And so I am so glad that we are once again here in person, able to celebrate our honorees and celebrate this amazing place we call Brandeis Marin. You know, this community is really special. When Sharon and I joined the community about 11 years ago, we didn't realize how meaningful and important it's going to be for our family. And not just when our kids was here, but also after both of them have graduated from the school. In fact, I'm not sure if you know this, but more than half of our Board of Trustees is made out of people just like me that don't have kids that are currently at the school. And I'm really proud of that because it means just how important this institution is, not just for the families and the kids that are attending right now, but for the whole Jewish community in Marin. So I'm really proud of that. You know, I guess you can say that Brandeis Marin is like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. So, but in all seriousness, we love this place, and it makes me so happy and proud to be a part of it. So there are many people that I want to thank for tonight's gathering. First, I'd like to thank our generous sponsors. You have made tonight's party possible and have shown incredible commitment to the school. We can't thank you enough. I want to thank the entire Board of Trustees that I have the privilege to work with, and I want to thank the parents and alumni parents who worked hard to create this memorable evening, and I want to thank the dedicated staff and especially the incomparable Barbara Harris for all the hard work. And lastly, I'd like to thank our esteemed and deserving honorees, Becky, Genet, Fenster, and Rose Barlow, 2 leaders and role models I've come to admire and respect very, very much. It is how they exemplify le dor vador that helps explain why Brandeis Marin is so successful today and what inspires us to build an even greater Brandeis Marin for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Or. This really is a sight for sore eyes. This is the largest in-person gathering, other than an airport, than I've been in 2 years. And just look around and take in a deep breath. It's a tangible sign of how special this community is to see so many parts of our school history here. I see part of our school's history here, and I also see so many parts of our school's future. I see some of my predecessors here, former administrators, former trustees, alumni parents, former students, former teachers, together with new teachers, new parents, current parents, new trustees. I actually want to just take a moment. One of the trustees said to me walking in that this is the first time he's physically seen in person other trustees that he's been serving in. So maybe if you serve on the Board of Trustees, could you just stand up for a second? We can recognize you. There you all are, three-dimensional. Thank you. Thank you all, thank you. And of course, we're all here gathered together because fundamentally, this school matters. Right? Tonight, of course, we're honoring and celebrating our friends Becky and Rose, without whom we wouldn't have reached this moment. We're honoring them, of course, for their shared passion for Brandeis Marin and for the very idea that Marin County needs a thriving Jewish day school to serve as a communal connector and also as a launch pad for students to go out into the world grounded in Jewish values and equipped with the knowledge, skills, and courage to engage and shape the future. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs once said, "No nation has dedicated itself more thoroughly than have the Jews to the proposition that ideas have power, that human freedom consists of our ability to see the world differently and thus to transform it." Doesn't that sound like a notion that captures Brandeis Marin? A day school that is dedicated to providing exceptional education that is informed by Jewish values and inspires our graduates to be the leaders of tomorrow, whose ability to see the world differently has already inspired them to dive into critically important work of asking themselves, how can I transform this world? Ultimately, that is what all of our presence here today supports. And in being here, we celebrate with and appreciate Becky and Rose because they have lent their considerable voices and efforts to ensuring our school thrives here in Marin. Our school has recently grabbed the attention of the Jewish community across the nation for our groundbreaking work in engaging all sectors of the Bay Area Jewish community, welcoming students from a diverse range of backgrounds, and delivering a Jewish studies program that is both thought-provoking and values-oriented, and that resonates well and deeply with our students and their families. Of course, locally, our students are sought after by the most selective local high schools because we place a high value on pairing that deep character with academic excellence. Our general studies program competes pound for pound with the best independent schools in the area. And year over year, our students graduate with advanced level skills in geometry, expository and creative writing, the sciences, you name it. If you have ever heard a Brandeis Marin student speak in front of 300 people, you know that whether they're in kindergarten or 8th grade or anywhere in between, they are articulate, poised, and confident. And actually, speaking of our 8th graders, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate them and their parents, some of whom are here tonight, all of whom got into their top choice of high school. We are so proud. So before we begin this evening of celebration, I wanted to make one note of housekeeping. In an effort to keep us safe, we're outside, and of course, the sun is still shining. We have several videos that are going to be playing on this screen, and as you can see right now, the sunlight makes it a little challenging to see. So, sorry. We're just going to go with it. The videos will be showing at the bar after and during dinner, and so you will have an opportunity to see in a little more visual clarity the videos. By the time, hopefully, we start running them, you'll be able to see them better. But I just wanted to acknowledge that the sun is having that impact today. So, without further ado, let us begin this evening of celebration by welcoming to the stage our very first board president, the person who helped bridge the transition from being a satellite campus to being a wholly independent school. Please welcome Marty Friedman to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Brandeis Marin family. I'm honored and overjoyed to present the first of tonight's honorees, Becky Genet Fenster. I've been given 3 minutes for this honor, but I believe that I've been granted 3 minutes to talk about Becky the teacher, 3 minutes to talk about Becky the trustee, 3 minutes for Becky the friend, 3 minutes for Becky the K-8 graduate turned teacher turned trustee, 3 minutes for Becky the practically a family member, and so on. I've been trying to figure out where to start telling you about what Becky means to our Brandeis Marin community and to my family personally. And it's quite a challenge, mainly because Becky is just that special. An affiliation with Brandeis Marin that technically spans 5 decades. 5. A former teacher at the school who is so impactful that my own daughter considers her one of the most influential people in her life. A critical confidant and sounding board to me when Brandeis Marin was in its infancy. A current resource to the school so invaluable that she produced our first curriculum mapping, delivered our first accreditation, and shared our most recent strategic plan. At present, a trustee working to guide the school into the future. Not to mention a friend, a mentor, and an incredibly dedicated, loving, strong mom to Sean and Mia. And through it all, Becky always shows up. Becky always says yes, and Becky's always smiling. Becky, you're a model of commitment and dedication to teaching, to family, and to community building. And tonight's honor is so richly deserved. Your love for this school is mirrored by Brandeis Marin's love for you. I'm sure that many of you can fondly recall your favorite teacher from childhood. I can. Now imagine if you took the impact that that teacher had on you and just blew it up. By that I mean, imagine if in addition to being your favorite teacher, that you developed a lasting and deep friendship outside the classroom as well. And imagine that it has lasted for 15 years and counting, and that it has since expanded to include your entire family and her family as well. And that you've watched her children grow, and that your kids now babysit her kids. And. That is what Becky means to me and to my family. And while I, like many of you, remember my favorite teacher from childhood, with all of the incredible contributions and impact that Becky has had on Brandeis Marin, a school that we all care so deeply about, and on my family and on our community, I can honestly say that Becky, you have become that favorite teacher in my life and in my family's. And now if you'll please turn your attention to the video screen for a tribute to Becky.
When I first arrived at Brandeis, I was told by everybody that I had to meet Becky Fenster. She had been an alum of the school, she was a gifted teacher here, and she had a lot to offer. And so I scheduled a meeting with her, and I got to know her, and I was impressed.
Becky's incredible. I'm always amazed at how much work she can take on, and she does it so well.
Some ways, Becky is all the reasons why I do it. She's an alum student who got inspired to be an educator, who became very interested in not just the day-to-day operation, but she became involved and engaged to add value to the institution as a whole.
On the board, Becky takes on big, audacious projects, from leading our strategic planning to her visionary work on the Alumni Association.
Becky is the person to trust when the school needs to rely on somebody who can get something very important and very complex done with precision.
So Becky is admired by everyone. She works in this tireless way, and she's so giving of herself that people can't help but be at awe at her and be drawn to her.
Becky, when I first stepped foot in your 3rd grade classroom, I had no idea just how big of an impact you would have on my life forever. The Friedmans know how much you've contributed to the lives of Brandeis community members and to our school as a whole.
We love you so much. Mazal Tov.
My daughter is still amazing to me. She's a devoted mother to Sean and Mia, a loving aunt to Poppy, a caring sister to Deborah, and a supportive and loving daughter to Phil and to me. Becky, I love you unconditionally.
What makes me proud of her is she is really nice to everyone. She says everything that she's actually going to do. And I think that's how everyone should know her as a really nice person.
Becky's contributions to our school have been absolutely transformative. We have strengthened our systems, we have strengthened our educational program, and we've strengthened our governance under Becky's tutelage.
With that, I'd like to please join me in welcoming Becky Genet Fenster to the stage. Becky, on behalf of a most grateful Brandeis Marin community, we would like to present you with this gift to commemorate the 2022 Spring Simcha. Please come forward.
I'm just going to take a moment. This is incredible. Being here with everyone tonight is just fulfilled me in a way that I don't know if I've ever felt this much love before being in this community. So thank you all for being here. Brandeis has been the backbone of my life since I was 5 years old. As I look out at everyone who is gathered here tonight, I'm surrounded by a sea of people who have impacted my life in so many ways for nearly 4 decades, which is amazing because I'm only 30. At the core of Brandeis is its community, or Kehila, who has built and sustained the school. I would like to take a moment and thank those of you who have participated in this communal journey along with me, enabling Brandeis to grow, change, and thrive amongst many landscapes. So in the spirit of Kehila, please humor me. I would like to begin by asking if we attended Brandeis as students during the same time period, please rise and remain standing. And if you were a teacher or administrator while I was a student at Brandeis, please remain standing. If you were a teacher or administrator, please join us. If you were a parent, including my own, while I was a student at Brandeis, please join us. Now, if you were a student while I was a teacher here at Brandeis, please stand up. And if you were a parent while I was a teacher here, please join us. If you were my colleague or administrator while I was a teacher at Brandeis, please join me in rising. And if we work together on curriculum mapping or on our school's accreditation together, please join us. If we traveled to Israel together, please rise. If we served on the board together, thank you for your service. Please rise. If we worked on the recent strategic plan together, thank you for your partnership. Please stand. If you are a current faculty or staff member while I have been a trustee here at Brandeis Marin, please rise. And if you are a current parent or grandparent at Brandeis while I have been a trustee, please join us. And finally, if you have come to tonight's celebration in honor of Rose or myself or our beloved school, Brandeis Marin, thank you for your support. We are so glad you are here. Please rise as well. This is a Shehekianu moment, a prayer of gratitude. If you are familiar, please recite it with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehekianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lezman hazeh. Thank you. Please sit down. When we talk about Lador Vador, generation to generation, all we have to do is look around. More than 40 years of shared history between us, which stems from the school that has raised me, sustained me, and supported me through every life event. Thank you to my parents and my grandparents for providing me this opportunity. Thank you to my children who have waited patiently for me to finish a class or yet another meeting. Thank you to Rose for being an unbelievable mentor and friend. Thank you to my closest friends, both new and old, for being by my side on this journey. And thank you to this amazing community for joining me tonight in support of my beloved alma mater. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to the biggest mensch of all. Sandy Statler is an alumni father, recent trustee, and everyone's favorite B'nai Mitzvah tutor. Please give a warm welcome to the one and only Sandy Statler.
Good evening. What a pleasure to be here. What a pleasure to be here, especially for these two wonderful women and this incredible school. You know, Shakespeare wrote, "A rose by any other name would smell as sweet." At Brandeis Marin, we know that a rose by any other name besides Barlow would not be as sweet. And luckily for us, we've had the benefit of the rose by the name of Barlow. Similarly, almost 110 years ago, Gertrude Stein wrote the famous line, "A rose is a rose is a rose." For our Brandeis Marin community, we have learned that a rose is a Shoshana, is an incredibly bold leader of force, vision, and critical thinking, and is a Barlow. What can I say about our Rose? She's tenacious and tireless, kind and caring, fiercely committed and follows through, gets close to and connects people, opens her heart and her home to friends, and brings her bold ideas and blessings to us and so much more. Over the past 7 years, Rose, with the help of Peg, the staff and board, has created a community at Marin Brandeis with higher aspirations. When it came to development, she helped us all learn that working together, we can make the impossible possible. We can achieve what we aspire to. Her presidency moved our community into a culture of philanthropy. At the same time, Rose took governance issues into the forefront of her work as president. Rose met with and mentored board members, helping them see the long-term goals of the school while attending to the school's immediate needs. She solicited community friends and the board to get prospective board members that could move the school to the next level, bringing diverse views and talent to the board. Somehow, Rose had the ability to get the board to support current growth of the school while creating a long-term strategy with the board and staff to assure smooth succession planning so the school can continue to grow and develop into the future. There has been and is much to learn from Rose's leadership and actions. Rose is always clear about what she thinks needs to be done. And the great thing about Rose is she's willing to do as well as lead and direct. Her energy and boldness has stimulated participation, support, and paradigm shifts for our school and the community we all love to be part of. I think that we can all agree that Rose Barlow has raised the bar high for all of us. Many of you know Rose has been a lifelong student, especially about Judaism and its teachings. Mishnah Avot teaches us much about Rose's approach to her life, and in particular, her work on the board and as president of Brandeis Marin. Rabbi Tarfon used to teach, Hayom katzar v'hamlacha merubah, and he added, Lo alayach hamlacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben chorin levatel mimena. The day is short and the work is great. And Rabbi Tarfon adds that while it's not incumbent upon you to finish the work, neither are you free to desist from it entirely. Rabbi Tamar Elad Applebaum teaches that while life is short, we all have much to do, and there's many rewards we receive from our good deeds. One is working with others to bring us a life of virtue and a sense of community. The rabbi adds that while people are anxious to complete meaningful things on this earth, and they can get impatient, think Rose Barlow, human activity sometimes unfolds slowly. And we need to know that our work may have results today, but it often takes years for some of the results of our work to be fully realized. We are grateful to Rose for helping to create meaningful changes at Marin Brandeis and a richer community for all of us today, as well as planting the seeds for continued growth and community building into the future. I'd like to share a short video about Rose with you, and if you can't see it, just have a few drinks and you won't worry about whether you see it or not at the bar.
Anyone who knows Rose knows that Rose is bold, and Rose's commitment to believing in the highest possibilities for ourselves and our community, that's infectious.
She's just a powerhouse. Like, she just does what she wants and gets what she wants.
I would go back further than Brandeis. Prior to coming to the States, Rose had some very significant positions in the corporate world. And she stepped aside from that to bring up the kids and be an active and engaged parent. But there was always going to be a point where some organization had a need, and it was that need at Brandeis that met in with her skill set.
Rose really helped me believe that we can set an ambitious agenda for our school and we can achieve it because we are an incredible community.
For example, I remember early on, she talked to me and she said, I've come to realize that unless we change our fundraising, there's just no way to create a sustainable school. And she said, we'll create a culture of giving at the school. She did it. She convinced me and she convinced everyone else, and have made that shift. And that's been creating this lasting change for many years.
We are in an incredibly healthy, exciting, thriving place. And that is really because of the work Rose put in.
I feel like her take on Brandeis was always looking to the future and saying, like, how can we get better? How do we keep this alive? Brandeis Marin is very different than the Brandeis Hillel that Rachel and I went to.
The Brandeis we first went to, we didn't even have security gates. It was just such a different time. But now using technology in classrooms, I'd like to think that adopting that and pushing for that is something that my mom has helped with.
Brandeis has been a huge part of our lives, and Rose has been a very important part of the development of that organization, but I think in a certain way that organization has been an important part of her development as well. It was a symbiotic relationship. Brandeis was great for Rose, and I think Rose has been great for Brandeis.
It's my honor to present my friend, a model to all of us, and our incredible leader, Rose Barlow. Rose, on behalf of the trustees, staff, parents, grandparents, prior students, and frankly, our Marin community, I'd like to present you with a small token of our appreciation for all you've done.
Thank you. I never ever like to correct Sandy Statler, but I'll do it just once. Actually, my Hebrew name is Ruchama, and in the spirit of Lador Vador, I'm named after a beloved great aunt, somebody who was very special to my mother, of blessed memory. Anyway, back to my remarks. You've all been incredibly patient, and I know you're itching to eat and enjoy an evening of socializing and dancing. After all, it's been a very long pandemic and a rather long program. So I will keep my remarks brief. After listening to the previous speakers and watching the videos, which we will get to do later, You are all under the misapprehension that tonight has been about a school and a couple of women who have rather single-mindedly devoted hours, weeks, months, and years to this institution. Well, I want to challenge that whole premise and say that this evening is actually about all of you. Without you, we would not have had a cause. Without you, there would be no Spring Simcha 2022. Without you, there would be no Brandeis Marin. You got that? Okay, now we've cleared that up. So you heard what Becky had to say, and I too have a version of her story. It doesn't go back quite 4 decades, we'll say 2 decades, of the school community that welcomed my husband and I and our daughters Rachel and Hannah to Brandeis and helped us grow as parents and help raise our girls into the young women of courage, integrity, and heart that they are. And this did not just happen during formal school activities, but during the extracurricular birthday parties, Passover Seders, Hanukkah gatherings, breakfasts, and many, many, many Benot Mitzvot. The choice of Brandeis Hillel Day School, Marin Campus, the choice of Brandeis Hillel Day School and then Marin Campus to follow preschool was not a foregone conclusion for us. I was raised a conservative Orthodox Jew in South Africa and had almost no formal Jewish education at all. I did not attend day school. I did not attend a Hebrew school or a cheder or Jewish summer camp, and only briefly belonged to the youth arm of Habonim, which is a socialist Zionist movement. Raised by a Catholic mother and a Church of England father, Chris had no Jewish education either. It didn't take long to realize that not only were our children going to make lifelong connections here, so were we. And we have. We did and we have. Counted amongst them and present here tonight are people who taught our children and people whose kids were in their classes, as well as people whose kids were in other grades, but like me, pitched into a host of parent volunteer jobs that vastly enriched the school for all and enriched ourselves. Speaking only for myself, I can truly say I've always gotten more out of the time I've spent on Brandeis business than I've put in. There are many of you here tonight, alum families and alum educators, who have become part of the Barlow's extended family. We are indebted to you and we are grateful to you. You know who you are. We love you. Also here tonight are our Bay Area relatives, Neil and Mary Nordquist and Dana O'Gorman. Thank you to the 3 of you for all the concerts, open houses, special Friends Days, and graduations you have attended in support of Rachel and Hannah at Brandeis and elsewhere. You truly bless our lives. Thank you. I'm not comfortable with the attention that being an honoree brings. I don't need to be acknowledged or thanks. The rewards are all intrinsic. Reflecting on my experience, I will sum them up as being a complex cocktail of obligation, service, privilege, joy and nachas, and a lot of personal growth. I want to acknowledge that I stood on the shoulders of other lay leaders such as Dr. Mark Dollinger and Marty Friedman, and of course, our beloved Sandy, because actually he was the one who put a lot of fire or wind in my sails on the fundraising and advancement side. Without you, I'm not sure it would have been as successful. I'm also grateful to all Shaked and future board presidents who will continue this vital work. I invite current families to dive in and lead too so that you can reap the rewards. In the interest of keeping my promise that my remarks will be short, I will single out just 3 people by name that I have to say a few more words about. My husband, Chris Barlow, and tomorrow we celebrate 33 years of marriage. He truly ploughed into the unknown and supported these endeavors with much patience and forbearance for the hours and hours and hours of time and attention the work required. Thank you for your love, your support, and for grounding me when that became necessary from time to time, and for helping to raise our 2 principled, well-balanced, well-adjusted, well-educated, resilient, and beautiful daughters, who I wish were here tonight. Head of school, Dr. Peg Sandell. The cosmos aligned when we started to realize that each of us had a big, audacious vision for what the small Jewish day school in the county of Marin could be. Together, we would refresh and renew this newly independent institution to serve the current and future students and their families for many decades to come. Together, we dreamed about more than surviving. We dreamed about thriving. We started to set that dream in motion. Peg, thank you for your scholarship, partnership, leadership, and friendship. And of course, my fellow honoree, Becky, Genet, Fenster. A theme in my life has been the great satisfaction I get from the opportunity to encourage and mentor others to find their passions, their voices, and their power to make an impact. Becky deserves all the accolades she's receiving here tonight for her own passion and smarts and the hard work she has demonstrated and Brandeis has benefited from beyond measure. My thank you to you, Becky, is for inviting me and allowing me to having played my part in schooling you, challenging and pushing you, and encouraging you to emerge as the leader you are. Along the way, Becky has become a dear friend and my first experience of having that wonderful relationship with what an adult daughter would be like, and Rachel and Hannah, thank you for that. Any of you here tonight who are in any doubt that we have seen only the half of what Becky has to give, I invite you to stick around for a bit. I, for one, am convinced that the best is yet to come. No pressure, Becky. I am grateful to you, and I love you dearly. Thank you all for being here, for loving us, and for loving and supporting Brandeis Marin so generously. We are the stronger for all of you. The school is the stronger for all of you. This is our collective legacy. Thank you.
It's a huge honor for me to introduce the most incredible head of school anybody has ever had anywhere. I'd like to welcome Dr. Peg Sandell up here.
I wanted to just say a quick thank you. You know, an event like this honestly requires a small army of people to put all of the details together. And so while I can't name every single person by name, there are several people who I want to call out by name. And I'm looking at Barb to help me out with that. I'd like to first thank Adria Goldberg and Sophia Chansey. They are our intrepid Spring Simcha organizers. Adria and Sophia, please come on up. Thank you for your tireless efforts to plan and organize this incredible event tonight. You've been our fearless volunteer leaders without whom none of this would have happened. I'd also like to thank all of the volunteers who have been working over the last several weeks and months, and including today and in the most recent days, and some of whom are still working even right now, to make this event a success. I wanted to offer just a few special shout-outs, in particular to Eric Lendl, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, who worked with Adria to create this very special school history tapestry that is just back there. I encourage you, if you get a chance, or if you haven't had a chance, to go over there and read through it and add your thread to that visual tapestry. You will see how powerfully Becky and your incredible teacher style gave us a strong demonstration of how we are all connected. I believe that will be a lasting legacy that we can point to. So encourage you and want to thank Eric and Adria for that. I also wanted to thank some of the staff members who have worked so hard to make today happen. A special shout out of deep appreciation to Chris and Armando, our hard-working maintenance staff, who have literally moved heaven and earth to be sure that everything is in place for us tonight. I also want to offer a special thanks, and I know she probably won't want to come forward, but I'm going to pull her forward, to Bev Borman, our Director of Operations. Bev, you need to come up here. You have helped put everything in place for us tonight. Pamela, can you grab the, sorry? She doesn't like to be put in front of folks, but we just do want to thank you, Bev. And last but not least, I want to thank the person who has already been thanked, and I believe we have another set of flowers there, Barb Harris, our incomparable Director of Advancement. Barb, your vision, attention to detail, and tenacity as tonight's executive producer are simply inspirational. Thank you, Barb. Okay, I'd like to ask you to please turn your attention to our video screen for a tribute video to our teachers. Nothing. We would be nothing without our teachers, the folks who day in and day out deliver an incredible experience and program support and inspiration to our students. And so please turn your attention to this video.
Last year, I really struggled with my self-confidence, but being at Brandeis has given me more confidence in myself. Just knowing to be who I am and speak for myself, I think Brandeis has taught me a lot about that.
Over my time here, I've definitely felt like Brandeis has taught me a lot more than I knew before, and a lot of new things that I really love and use a lot.
Like at the beginning of the year when I first got here, I strongly disliked math. And now I have Mr. Janisch as my teacher. I think part of him being such a great teacher is that he's done so many other things besides math in his life that he can bring a lot of entertainment into our classes.
I think that really allows you to learn math in your own way that helps you. Because the classes are small enough, you can actually have a really good relationship with your teacher.
They talk to the rest of our class like we're young adults. And because of that, it's a lot more fun.
Always gonna remember that first day in kindergarten when I walked in and Marnie said, "Oh, hi, what's your name?" She just made me feel so welcome.
I think I know I can trust my teachers when they really start to connect with you, when they tell you, like, just email me if you forgot to do the homework. Those are many times where teachers were very helpful.
Science has been a very fun class for me. Mr. Seymour, our teacher, has given a lot of opportunity to be creative.
Mr. Seymour would tell us we could just build whatever we wanted. We had free will. The only goal was to make a Rube Goldberg machine. And so we could do whatever we wanted as long as we were making progress, and it was really fun.
Well, I just really enjoy being at Brandeis, and all my teachers are so kind and helpful. And whenever I need something, they're there for me, and all the kids here are really kind. It's kind of like a home.
20 years from now, I'll always remember that Brandeis gave me a voice and a Jewish education and a sense of who I am.
The rapport between teachers and students is really a special thing about Brandeis because it helps us learn effectively if we're more comfortable speaking out in class. Brandeis has helped me kind of, I guess, put my heart out there. I'm not afraid to be me.
I know we have a few teachers and staff here. If you work at Brandeis Marin, could you stand up, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here when we all know we have to be here first thing in the morning as well. You know, the Talmud, that great compendium of rabbinic teaching, tells us that while it is parents who bring children into the world, it is teachers who bring children into Olam Haba, the world that is coming. At our Seder table this year, we were talking about Olam Haba and what it might mean. Now, traditionally, Olam Haba, the world that is to come, refers basically to heaven. But I've been thinking lately that perhaps the phrase Olam Haba, the world that is to come, might be more compelling to us if we see that it can simply refer to the world of next week, or next year, or the next 10 years, the future of this world. What a bold and important understanding of the Talmud, that while it is parents who bring children into the world, it is our teachers who guide our children into the future. Marty, I appreciated your comments about thinking about teachers in our lives. And I'd like to ask us all to just take a moment and think about the teachers who have made a difference in your life. Think about the teachers who made a difference in the lives of your children. Think about the teacher who told you he or she cares about you or your child when you were feeling lost, who celebrated your aha moments, who inspired you to pursue a particular path in life, who was there for you in a moment of vulnerability or need, who taught you something that blew your mind, who ignited your passion for something, who was patient with you when you weren't your best self, or who helped to lay a solid foundation for your life. Whether you're reminded this evening of the important teachers in your life, or you're reminded of what an extraordinary group of educators we are blessed to have here at Brandeis, or both, this moment right now is our moment to honor these educators. Our teachers are incredible. Full stop. What would we be without them? The school that we all love so much, that Rose and Becky have dedicated themselves to supporting, is ultimately the people who make the learning come alive. Now, the responsibility borne by teachers is typical in any year, right? Teachers are entrusted with raising the next generation to be equipped to enter the workforce, shape public policy, raise kids, be civically engaged, carry forward the Jewish tradition, and to do it all from a deep foundation of ethics, personal responsibility, integrity, and kindness. But over the last 2 years of pandemic, our teachers have once again shown us just how amazing they are. All year, last year and this year, they welcomed kids to school in person all day, every single day. And through the changing and challenging landscape of the pandemic, they proved once again how incredible and how heroic they are. They rolled with every new twist and turn. They taught on Zoom for a while. They taught indoors while masked. They're still teaching indoors while masked. They taught outside, right out here in our tent city we had up for more than a year. They taught kids on Zoom and kids in person at the same time, indoors and outdoors. They taught kids, they adapted to new situations, they adopted new and creative strategies to engage and stretch and support students, and even when it was hard, and especially when it was hard, our teachers and our entire team rose to the occasion. Not only have they been there literally through thick and thin for our students and our families every day during this incredibly challenging time, but they have modeled for our students how to show up and be present when the times are tough. And the last 2 years have been something of a crucible. We were asked to be resilient and keep kids in school, and we did it. And we didn't just limp along, we did it with flying colors. If you know a Brandeis Marin teacher, you know that they approach their work each day with dedication and commitment, with care and love, full of heart. And now we have an opportunity to show them just how much we appreciate them. Did you know that 80% of every dollar that comes into this school supports teacher compensation so that we can retain the very best teachers and attract the best new talent to our school? I ask you tonight to raise your paddle in honor of our teachers. 80 cents of every dollar, just like every other day, will flow directly to teachers. We're dedicated to ensuring that they're compensated competitively, that they have access to high-quality professional development, and that they have every tool that they need to bring a robust educational experience alive for their students. Our teachers deserve everything we can give them and more, because what they give us and our children is priceless. It's nothing less than the future. And so the moment has arrived. It is time to acknowledge and reward those heroes who've kept our kids engaged in school. Please join me in celebrating and honoring the best and brightest, our teachers. And I welcome up to the front here my colleague, Steve Friedman, our middle school social studies teacher. And some of you may have noticed that he stood early on in Becky's list. See, in the 90s, Steve was Becky's, sorry, Steve. It's okay. Steve was Becky's Jewish studies teacher, and it was his deep love for this school that brought him back in 2016 to teach social studies. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody here, please welcome Steve Friedman.
Thank you, Peg. Okay, so this is the Jerry Maguire moment. Show us more money. That's what we need. So, and the faster we do this, the faster you get back to drinking and eating. Because the bar will not be open until we're done. So, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to raise your paddles when you're comfortable. And here's the great thing. You can absolutely raise your paddles more than once. And they're going to be amounts ranging from $5,000 all the way down to... And if you raise both hands, we'll count the contribution twice. So 2 hands times 5,000, that's 10,000. You can do what you're comfortable with, and for some of you, it's okay to be a little uncomfortable. So first of all, we do want to thank all the sponsors and donors who've already given. But this is your opportunity to give even more. So basically, I'm going to start with 5,000 in a moment. And those of you who are comfortable with that amount, or even if you're just a little uncomfortable, you raise your paddle, and it's a simple rule. So this is, as a school team, explain everything to the students, and then invariably they still ask you the question of what pages should we read? So when you raise your paddle, please leave it up until I call your number. Don't put it down. We do need to record the number. And you, again, I'm just going to say it, you can bid more than once. So if you give 5,000, you can still bid another amount. All right. So if you are comfortable with $5,000, please raise your paddle. 293. Thank you very much. 392. Thank you very much. All right. I guess we're going to keep it moving. We're moving down to 2,500. 2,500. 506. 134. Okay. We'll go down to 1,800. That's like high multiplied a lot. 5. 479. 224. 275, 488. Okay, we're dropping to 1,000. 560, 227, 179, 158, 404, 266. I feel like I should be calling bingo. 260. Okay, Rebecca Barcone. I have a number, but she's just raised her hand twice. No, once, just once. Okay, am I moving too fast? Okay, people want to eat and drink. We got to keep it going. $500, the $500 level. 305, 398, 149, 119, 422. 572. Thank you all. Absolutely. Okay. And again, just reminding you, you can give more than once. 250. We're at the 250 level. 122. 131. 413. 137. 551. 290. Okay. We're now at the 180 level. The 180 level. 389. Wait, the amount or the number I was supposed to call? Yeah, 180 is what I was, yeah, okay. All right, we're good? Okay, we're going to go down now to 50. Every amount counts. 440, 173, 659, this is the $50 level, 521, 644, 287, 410, 116, 248, 360, 464, okay, 360, okay, and last and definitely not least, the $36 level, double high, 197, 407, 164, 125. Okay, this has been great. Thank you all so much. I do want to say, I know Orr said that Brandeis Marin is a lot like, the Hotel California. I kind of feel like after the last 2 years and we're still in a pandemic, it's really been like a Beatles song. It's just been a hard day's night. So thank you all for your contributions.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Steve. Thank you. I can't tell you how heartwarming it is. I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes, quite honestly. I know that you have given so generously to this school, and if you're a parent at this school, what you invest in your child's education is priceless, but it's also not insignificant. And so thank you for showing us and showing our teachers, most importantly, how important they are. Okay, the time has arrived. The bar is open. And the buffet lines in the very back are open on each side. Please take to and get to the buffet table that is nearest your table. And also, please remember that your last chance to buy a raffle ticket is at 8 o'clock. Just find one of our raffle and ticket sellers, and they will hook you up with a raffle ticket. And thank you very much.